Hi everyone, it's Meredith with Soul Navigation. Welcome to my full moon video for March 9th, but this is going to be so relevant, if you will, even going forward. So if you have found this later, my video is going to be a take on the coronavirus and the full moon, and where this axis shows up, Virgo Pisces axis shows up in your chart, will show you sort of the relationship that you will have with the coronavirus, I believe. I really see this as a little slice, if you will, around the meaning of this full supermoon, by the way. It's not just a full moon, it's a full supermoon. And I wanted to infuse the meaning of the coronavirus directly into this full moon because I think it is just glaringly obvious. It also has a lot of different meanings, and I think you can find that on other people's channel, but I want to specifically correlate it to the coronavirus. Why? Because I'm sitting here, can you believe this? I am sitting in the epicenter of the United States coronavirus. Yes, Kirkland, Washington is like Wuhan, China. And I am just a couple miles from Kirkland. I'm 2 towns over, and we share all the same restaurants, hospitals, friends. I have tons of friends in Kirkland, and practitioners, doctors, gyms. It's like a little sister city to where I live here in Issaquah. It's not far away at all. So schools are shutting down around us. Public transportation has been being disinfected, if you will. My state, Washington State, is on high alert. And I hope that everybody is safe and taking really good care of themselves. But this is really affecting life here, and I am pretty positive it is going to spread pretty big across the United States. So I wanted to talk about it. I'm going to walk you through each house and how this might show up for you based on where you have the full moon in Virgo and the sun in Pisces in your chart. You know that Virgo and Pisces are opposite. And when the sun and the moon are in opposite signs, that's what creates the full moon. This is a super full moon, and that is because, if you will, the moon is sitting very close to Earth right now. It's only 226,000 miles approximately away from Earth, and it usually hovers between 230 and 250,000. So it's really close to us. And when it's close to us, it has a much bigger and even more volatile impact, if you will. If you want to know more about me, please go down into the notes section. You'll see where you can buy charts and reports. If you don't know where your planets line up, I'm going to show you today in this video the full moon chart. And then if you know where your Virgo and Pisces is, that's fantastic. But if you don't, you can go to my online scheduler. My website's not up quite yet, but you can go to my online scheduler and you can buy one of the charts from there. You can also buy my reports. But I'm an evolutionary astrologer. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I absolutely love sharing my knowledge and my craft with you. I have a big practice from around the world. I work with people in 17 different countries, and I do readings all day long, and I absolutely love it. I hope you'll help me get to 20,000 subscribers by next January and become a subscriber, because I'm posting every Sunday at 9:30, mark your calendar, in the morning Pacific time. But I'm also posting a little bit more frequently here and there, and I don't want you to miss a video. You know, knowledge is power. And when you understand the transits and when you understand the energetic vibration, you can do something with it. And so it's sort of like a sculptor with some clay. You know, you can mold it and sculpt it, and you can work with it a little bit more. So where you have this going on in your chart is sort of how I see that the coronavirus is going to play with you, if you will. So let's talk about this. It's so big. I can't even believe when I really went in and studied the chart for March 9th through March 24th, I couldn't even believe what I was looking at. I was like, wow. Also, if you have not seen my video on cataclysmic changes and how will they affect you this January 2020, go back and find it. I can't believe this because I went back and I rewatched that video that I did in January for the January 12th eclipse, and I could not believe it. But I believe I was talking about the coronavirus, however, not knowing anything about the coronavirus. I had no idea that it was going to, the world was going to be shaped like this through a pandemic. And yet I speak all about it and I talk about it so succinctly, but you know, it hadn't yet hit yet. So let's move forward because I got tons to share and I want you to see how this is going to show up in your life. So pay attention, stick with me through this whole video. I'm going to try to talk fast because I got lots and lots to say, and I'm going to show you the charts. So that's why my video quality is a little bit lower, and I'm not going to edit this, so forgive me for all my foibles and quirks that won't be edited out. I'm sure there will be plenty, and you of course have your fast forward button, so you don't have to deal with my personality. If you don't want to, you can scroll to the parts that you want, but I'm going to show you the chart. So let's do this. So I think I'll show you the chart just right now. Well, no, I'm not going to show you the chart right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you that March 9th is just sort of a pinnacle, or it's a peak point until the next new moon in Aries, which is going to take place on March 24th. Now, on March 24th, that new moon in Aries is really, really, really critical. It is so, so critical because we're going to have Chiron in Aries right smack next to the sun and the moon. And what is Chiron? Well, Chiron is the wounded healer. It is where we are wounded and where we want to be healed. And it is going to be in a square to the nodal axis, the Capricorn and Cancer nodal axis, which is the collective community. So we'll get back to that. We will get back to that. But right now, I want to give you my higher messages, if you will, the higher messages that this full moon is bringing to us, the divine messages. And I'm a very honest reader. It's what I think my clients like the most about me. I am not giving you unicorns and leprechauns. I am giving you the full truth. But this is my heart and soulful, truthful take on this aspect without creating panic, but also without burying our head in the sand. I'm going to give you a little bit of a different take. Where you have this Virgo Pisces axis is where you will find your weakness and where you will need to take the most precaution with this virus. So I want you to really listen up. It's just fascinating. We have a lot to pull apart. So with the sun in Pisces right now it is right smack on Neptune. They're together. The sun and the moon are right smack together in Pisces. I'm sorry. The sun and Neptune are right smack together with Pisces. Let me show this to you. I'm going to show you this. Okay. Take a peek at this. Here we go. So the sun and Neptune are right here together and they oppose the moon, right? So we're going to talk about this right here. And then we're going to bring in all of this Capricorn. Okay. I want you to also take a look at this. Saturn is going to move into, let me take me off the screen. Saturn is going to move into the 29th degree starting tomorrow. I'm sorry, starting on March 10th. And it's going to stay there until the new moon in Aries on March 24th. So when any planet is in the 29th degree, you know that I consider that the crisis degree. So that's also why we have to talk about what is going on. Look at the new moon in Aries over here. So we've got the new moon in Aries on March 24th. Let me take me off. And we've got it with Chiron, where we are wounded, right? So we're going to come back to this. And at that point, we finally get Saturn in 0 degrees Aquarius. So that's going to be really helpful. But let's go back to, I just want to tell you, show you, what's coming up here. Let's go back to this. So we've got the Sun and Neptune at 19 and 18 opposing the 19-degree Virgo moon. Now, what I want you to do is see where you have it. So I'm going to use Donald Trump, and I'm going to see where he has it. And here's his chart on the middle. And then we see that he has it in the house, the first house, the full moon in Virgo, and the 7th house, the Sun and Neptune in Pisces in the 7th. This is other people, and this is his marriage, and this is his business dealings. This is the house of hidden enemies, and this is his body and himself and his head. So let's go back to this chart right here. Forgive me for not having this edited. And this is what we're going to look at for you. It's interesting, isn't it? It's just so fascinating. So here we go. Let's talk about this. When the Sun and Pisces are together, we have to blend those two. They become like Siamese twins, and they operate together. So on March 9th, they are pretty darn close to each other, and we consider them close within 10 degrees. So for the whole rest of the month, until especially the 24th of March, Neptune's pretty close to the Sun. So we blend those energies. The Sun being the life force energy, the life, and Neptune being the spiritual sign, the sign of the collective consciousness, the oneness. But Neptune can also represent contagious illnesses, tuberculosis, pneumonia, poisons. It can represent all kinds of diseases. Now, I really want to credit Judith Hill. I absolutely love her, and I love her work. And I read this book, Medical Astrology, A Guide to Planetary Pathology. But what I want to share with you is, Neptune is and Pisces are nebulous. They're very, very nebulous. Neptune is what we are blind to, what we cannot see. Now, I do think that there is a mystical side with huge messages from the divine. And when the Sun is in Pisces and when Neptune is there, you can truly see that we are all one, that the world isn't so big anymore, is it? That we need to take care of each other. And we can see the fragility of life and our life. We can also see the power in higher consciousness and in prayer and meditation, in spirit. So fears can spread much faster than viruses, right? So don't be a victim, Pisces victim, and don't be a victim to fear. And I don't want to be a conduit of fear for you. I want to give you knowledge so you can be grounded and you can do something powerful and positive for yourself, for your family, and for others. This is a time for deep spiritual growth. With Neptune on the Sun, this is us deepening our faith and deepening a sense of higher purpose. This is us realizing that we need to help the underdog. We need to help the compromised. We need to help the elderly. We need to help the homeless. We need to help those who do not have a voice for themselves. We need to remember, in a real nuts and bolts Virgoian level, not to take the last roll of toilet paper in Costco and leave the last bottle of Lysol for the other guy too, right? You should see our Target and Costco's and Safeway stores. There's no provisions. They're gone. They can't even stock it fast enough here. You can't buy masks on Amazon very easily. Don't even know if you should buy a mask. I'm just saying you can't find hand sanitizer. Go to my Instagram page, soul_navigation, and I teach you how to make your own hand sanitizer. Probably should put that video on YouTube. But I had to make my own hand sanitizer because there is none in any stores near me. I probably would have to go across the Puget Sound to Vashon Island to go get hand sanitizer, which I'm not doing. But right now, with the sun on Neptune, what is going to happen is we are going to get misinformation. We can get airy-fairy answers, and we can even be told untruths and lies, especially with that full moon. The Pisces sun and Neptune I want to go to page 22 and show you. She's just wonderful. I love Judith. I love her work. And this is a fantastic book for medical astrology. But on page 22, I just want to show you that I'm not lying. She talks about, it's really, really good, how Pisces is delicate, and how when the sun or Neptune is in Pisces, or when the sun is conjunct Neptune, we really need a time to retreat. We need time to sleep, and we must move away from stress and anxiety, and that we need gentle treatments to help us with a weakened immune system. And we need to protect ourselves with antiviral and antibacterial herbs. And we need more gentle, holistic, preemptive healing agents right now. So Pisces diseases are through weak feet, through depression, through corrupted blood, through mucus problems and lung problems and obesity. If you think about metaphorically the feet, though, the feet are your foundation. The tips of the toes are very fragile right now, and our feet, our foundation is weakened. So now let's talk about Virgo. So in Judith's book also, because I like to double check my knowledge and double check my work. And so I really do recommend her book. It is just fantastic, and it's very easy to read. So in her book, she also talks about, Virgo represents many, many things, but it also ironically represents the immune system, just like Pisces. And that is what is being attacked if you don't have a strong immune system, you're really susceptible to this virus. So Virgo is really a vital sign. It's very strong, but it does require careful maintenance. And it's begging us to watch our diet and put our health at the forefront of our attention right now. Virgos are usually, stereotypically, if you will, they are really obsessed with health. And if you're feeling obsessed with your health, you'll really feel it under the full moon all the way till the 24th of March, because it's heightened. It's on high alert right now. And Virgo is also, it suffers from really high anxiety. So try to do anything that helps you manage and navigate your high anxiety right now. The moon in Virgo is asking us to implement a plan that creates a new daily routine. So your old daily routine really needs a good goodbye, and at least for a little while. And so right now you need to regroup, reassess, and change things up. You need something more simple, a more simple lifestyle, a time to retreat right now, declutter, get rid of all of the contamination and the clutter in your house. Organize, have a very organized and simplistic system, but let it be pragmatic. Get down into the weeds and really change some of the nuts and bolts in your life, like a good car mechanic, you know, where you're replacing the spark plugs or the fuse, or you're changing the air filter and the oil. This is the time to do that. You need a little upgrade. And this part of your life, wherever this is in your life, you need to not neglect this part, because this is where you are weakened. So let's go through the houses. By the way, I think that this full moon and this coronavirus is an enormous wake-up call, an enormous wake-up call for me and you and for the world at large. Again, we're not so far apart anymore, are we? Wuhan, China, all the way to Kirkland, Washington. It's mind-boggling. It's crazy. It's crazy making. Let's talk. If either the moon or the sun right now by transit is transiting your first house. So if you have the full moon in Virgo or the sun conjunct Neptune in Pisces in your first house, okay? So if you have it in your first, you're going to also have the other part in the seventh. So you got to listen for the pairs. So the first and the seventh, right? So the first house represents you and your body. It represents your head. And where can you contract the virus? Well, through open wounds, of course, but your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. If you have the moon or the sun in transit in your first house, I want you to be really, really careful with your body, with your coughing, sneezing, and breathing, or being around people. So you want to stay farther apart than most. I don't recommend that you go into groups where you're, you know, shoulder to shoulder or traveling at this time. Take a little hiatus, because your body is susceptible. That's where you are having this aspect. That's the arena in which this coronavirus, if you will play with you, with your body. So take precautions, do what you need to do. If this is happening in your second house, it is this coronavirus could find you or play with you or dance with you, trick you through your food preparation, through what you're eating. So would I go to an open salad bar if I had this in my second house? No. Would I go to Chipotle where they fix my food for me? Maybe. I would take precautions. I would be very careful. I would eat organic. I would not eat pesticides right now. I also probably would not eat meat, to be honest. You know, they said that this came from unsanitary food and meat in a food market in China. So I would wash my kitchen. I would disinfect it constantly. My food prep, my hygiene around food would be impeccable if this was in my second house. If this is in your third house, you need to change up. So wherever this falls in your chart, you need to pay attention, bring this arena to the forefront, and rework it, redo it, or do it better. Okay, so if it's in your third house, where you're getting your information probably needs to change. You need to expand the information you're looking at. So if you're not on the CDC website, or if you're not reading the Wall Street Journal, or if you're not, you know, getting your information from really solid sources, And you get to pick what those solid sources are. I'm not trying to tell you what they are, but I want you to really pay attention. Are you getting false information? Do you need to change where you're getting your information? And do you also need to be a provider of really good information? Can you be a mouthpiece to help other people get quality information? So it's about the news, it's about the communication process really needs to show up differently for you. What if you are a believer, let's say, this is happening in your third house. You either have the moon transiting or the sun transiting in your third house, and you believed up until you saw this video that this coronavirus is a hoax. Only 2 people died, you know, in your neighborhood. It's not that big of a deal. And you became lazy or uninformed or sort of sloppy, and you didn't implement a new protocol. It could find you that way by not being in the know. So if it's in your fourth house, that's your home and that's your family. That's also your mother. So take care of your mama, take care of those who you are really close to, and realize that your home could be a hub for the virus, depending on who you allow in there. So you might want to take more precaution around your home or just settle in at home. So if this is in your fifth house, you want to be careful with this virus for your children. And you also want to be careful going out and partying, going to a casino, going to a bar, going to a nightclub, going to a concert, dancing on the dance floor. You know, also playing sports. You don't want anybody else's sweat in your eyes, mouth, or nose. You don't want to give somebody a big sweaty hug and then go and touch your face. So you want to be really careful about the places where you receive joy and fun and clubs and concerts. And also you want to take precaution with your children. If this is in your sixth house, this is your daily work. This is where you do your daily work. Is your workstation sanitized? Do you have Lysol wipes at work? Are you washing, or do you have a work? A lot of people don't even have a work that they can wash their hands at. So if you're a construction worker, you can't go and just wash your hands. I'm thinking about the flag holder or the person on the construction site right down the road. They don't have a place to go wash their hands. So if you're a construction worker and you are working, you want to be able to wash your hands before you eat something or drink something. So you want to do your daily work differently. You might need to go virtual. You might need to tell your boss that you're working from home, and you might not have the luxury to do that, and I understand that. So take precautions. And how you get to work is important too. If you're on a bus, you know, how are you going to travel safely next to somebody? Are you going to wear a mask? Or are you not? So if this is in your seventh house, this is your friends, this is other people, this is hidden enemies. What's really hard about your network, your business colleagues, your friendships, this is also your marriage, is your spouse could bring this home. You know, if your spouse is out there in the work world, in the public, and you're not, you make sure your spouse comes home and takes a shower, washes their hands, and sanitizes. You know, their gym bag, the bottom of it, that gym bag should not go on your bed, right? So you want to kind of monitor your spouse and where your spouse is going, and also your close connections and business connections. So if you have a business partner, this would be your business partner, right? If you own a restaurant, these are your employees at your restaurant. So the seventh house is other people, and it is also your spouse. So if this is the eighth house, this is very interesting. This virus could show up for you around your sexual relationships. You want to be careful and more careful about how you are going to handle your sex life, who you're going to have sex with, and truthfully, how you're going to have sex. You might not want to do all the things you have been doing. So there might be a sexual hiatus, or you might have to wrap it up, if you will. This is also your bedroom, so make sure you sanitize your sheets, change your sheets, wash your sheets. I want to give you a tiny tip. Put eucalyptus oil into your washing machine when you wash your sheets. That eucalyptus oil kills germs and dust mites. And also your bathtub. Bleach out your bathtub and your shower. So this is your bathtub, your bedroom. This is your bed. This is your private, the private place where you have sex, and this is your relationship to sex and your sexual relationships. So that's where you're vulnerable. If this is traveling through your 9th house, this is about travel, and you are very vulnerable to travel. So I'm talking about buses, ferries, trains, any enclosed community travel situation. If this is in your 9th house, I really would not travel on a plane right now. Mm-mm. If this is in your 10th house, this is your community. And this is how you interact at the community level. So do you go to the town hall? Do you sit on the board at the HOA? Do you go to the dog park with your community? Are you involved and active in your community? Are you using a microphone to speak into at a lecture hall, you know, for your community? Be careful with that. You want to be careful in community events. Are you at the JCC, you know, and how you interact with it. The 11th house is very similar. This is the house of friendships, but this is also schools and clubs and gyms and where you congregate. So this could be your church. This could be your school. This could be your club or your gym, okay? So this is where you find like-minded friends, and you want to be careful with your friendship circle. So, you know, a group, my doctor told me, is called or considered more than 5. So wherever you congregate with more than 5 people, that's the 11th house. So if you're having a dinner party over with 5 people, okay, I know, I understand that's in your house, but that tribe, right? That's a tribe, that's a group. That's where you are susceptible for this virus. So the 12th house is hospitals, the emergency room, prisons. It is also your sanctuary where you cloister, your yoga studio, and this is also your relationship to source. So you might need a new kind of conversation with yourself, to God, to the source. Your faith might be fragile right now, so you need to rebuild that. So that is the space, ironically or interesting, right, of the relationship between you and God. So you might need to rework that part like a good auto mechanic. You might need to reconsider your yoga studio. You might want to do yoga. I do yoga with Adrian in my living room sometimes. So you might want to do your yoga or your weightlifting or your workouts at home, or you might turn it into something new, like walking your dog or walking or hiking outside. So also hospitals are really a sensitive place for you. If you have this in your 12th house, I really would not go visit a hospital, and I wouldn't go visit jail or a prison. If you've got somebody in there, just call them for now. So let me give you a couple, I hope that helped, and I would love your comment. Please comment below if you can relate to this, and let me know. You're going to have it in 2 places, okay? You're going to have this aspect in 2 places because they're opposite. So if you have it in the 1st, you're also going to have it in the 7th. If you have it in the 2nd, you're going to also have it in the 8th, the 3rd and the 9th, the 4th and the 10th, right? And on. So the 5th and the 11th and the 6th and the 12th. So if you have it in the 3rd, in the communication and the news, you also have it in the house of travel. So communication and travel. What if you get the green light to go to Hawaii and then you find out, I got on the plane traveling and I got wrong news, right? So I want you to be really careful wherever you have this. It's really important. So let me just tell you, we're going to go back a little bit to the idea that I opened with, March 10th through the 24th. On the 24th, we get that new moon in Aries, but starting on the 10th all the way until the 24th, we have Saturn sitting at that crisis degree, and it's leaving Capricorn, but it's sitting at the 29th degree in Capricorn before it goes to the 0 degrees Aries, 0 degrees Aquarius. And so when it goes into the 0 degrees Aquarius, it's like liberated. But that new moon in Aries, remember, has the wound Chiron on it. And I think what's going to happen is soon after March 24th, we are going to have an innovative breakthrough. Up until the 24th, when we've got Saturn at the 29th degree of Capricorn, we are going to feel unhappy. We're going to feel like, many of us will feel like we don't have the power. Capricorn is government. We don't trust the government. See, the 29th degree is the crisis degree. You have to forgive my personality. I'm really passionate about this, and I just can't believe everything that I'm seeing. And I just so badly want to share it with you, because I want you to know that these things are going to pass and that there is hope and there are remedies coming. It's just we've got to protect ourselves right now a little bit and stay safe and take precautions, ride out this tsunami, if you will. And I do think that we're going to see the numbers escalate in March, in the second half of March, between the 10th and the 24th. I think we're going to see larger numbers. And unfortunately, I don't think we have enough pragmatics in place at the higher level. So we as individuals need to get resourceful. For example, making your own hand sanitizer, because there isn't any in my town. I hope you've got them in your town. And calling your own shots, because a lot of officials, if you will, are going to be not in the know, sloppy, because we've got Saturn. Saturn is those authority figures above us, and it's in crisis at the 29th degree, and it's going to be in crisis until the 24th of March. So they don't know what's going on, truthfully. They really don't. You have got to step into the Virgo remedy of this and be awake and alert and recreate the nuts and bolts in your life, especially in the arena that it's dancing in your chart. And you should look at your family's charts, so you know where it is in your kids' chart. You know where this is in your husband's chart. You know where this is in your friends' charts. And if you are a Virgo or a Pisces, this is probably going to show up for you in some big way. So you just have to be very cautious and alert and awake, and please don't have your head in the sand. Please, please, please don't. Take care of yourself. Hibernate a little bit, isolate from bigger groups, and be really smart. So what I want to say is, until the 24th, when this Saturn is sitting at that 29th degree in Capricorn, it's you're going to see that you can't really trust the authorities so much. You can't really trust just anything you read. Yes, there are good people in government. You have to discern and figure out who you can trust and who you can't. But you're going to feel like you don't have a lot of knowledge or power. You're going to feel like there aren't any rules or regulations that are really in place. You're going to have to be the master of your own rules and regulations. You're going to have to figure out what is best for yourself and your family. You're going to feel suppressed, oppressed, repressed, or weak, without power or without good mentorship or good authority. You're going to feel at times like, is there anybody here capable of leading? Is there anybody here even leading? Is there, you know, who really is in charge here? Are the right people in charge? And if you get a good resource around having really good insight and really good real news around this virus, please leave a link in a comment below so other people can refer to it. I would absolutely love that. I would cherish that. And that's what I hope to build, is good resources that are truthful, that don't instill giant fear and an epidemic of fear. But I want us to have great collective strength together. So, you know, you may feel like nobody is really listening to directions, or nobody has any direction, or you may feel also invisible or forgotten. You may feel like you are having a breakdown, or society is breaking down. when this Saturn is at that 29th degree. This is a time where you really need to take your vitamins. You need zinc, you need vitamin C, you need the vitamins that are good for you. So on the 24th, I told you I would talk a little bit about this. We have our collective wound in Chiron in a tight square to the nodal axis. Cancer and Capricorn is where the nodes are, right? The south node is in Capricorn. You know that from my previous videos. I want you to go back and watch all those videos I did in December and January. They are mind-blowing. I even have a great video from last March where I talk about this, and it's just wow, where I talk about the great conjunction, Saturn conjunct Pluto. That's what we're still dealing with. I haven't mentioned it in this video, but it is the underpinning and it is the foundation of this. So because that nodal axis is also in south node in Capricorn, north node in Cancer, when we get that new moon on the 24th, yippee yahoo, we get Saturn in innovative, mind expanding, brilliant genius Aquarius at 0 degrees. We're so excited about it, but we get the collective wound Chiron right there in tight aspect to that nodal axis, and it makes a square. So I know we will be seeing healing remedies by then. Maybe there's, you know, a vaccine that's coming on the way, or we've got it contained in some small way, but I also know we will be seeing the collective wounded. We're going to have both. We're going to have two faces. So maybe China gets it under control, but then we don't. So we're going to see two faces of this where there's great inroads and great faith is restored in some way, shape, or form, maybe because you're counting on you. But we're also going to see the crisis and the wound. We're going to see people falling. We're going to see people crumbling from this. And I want you to remember that ultimately, at the end of the day, this is a wake-up call. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this collective weakness that we're experiencing, we will find strength in it. We will make meaning out of this. It will prepare us. I believe this is preparing us for the next one. I believe this is saying we will never be like this ever again. I believe this is like a crash where we are waking up to the fact of how fragile and vulnerable life really is. So we will come out of this, hopefully, cherishing our lives, cherishing life, and helping ourselves advance by being prepared for the next pandemic. And there will be a next. There's always one. We will turn this weakness that we have in being so ill prepared into a strength. And that will become the ultimate gift. I'm going to do a whole nother video on that new moon because I want you to know more about it. But for now, I think I've given you a lot to chew on and a lot to think about. And I just pray that you and your family are safe and that you are good and that you are taking good care of yourself and precautions. And please leave me a comment below and let me know if you have any comments or questions. Leave me a note. I try to answer them the best that I can. And I just, from my house to yours, I wish you the very, very best. Take good care of yourself. Bye for now.